One of the most iconic and famous cities in all of Europe, Lausanne, Switzerland, site of the ITU World Cup Triathlon, and that particular athlete was penalized 15 seconds in the transition zone for leaving before the start of the gun. It wasn't a big surprise to see Lucy Hall and Maya Kingma leading through the 1,500 meter swim, nor was it a surprise to see Tamara Gorman, the U.S. superstar, sitting in third place through most of that swim. All eyes, however, would be on Nicola Spirig to see just how far she would be behind the swim specialist, as Hall, Kingma, and Gorman came out of the water in just over 19 minutes, and it would be roughly another 40 seconds before the two-time Olympic medalist Nicola Spirig would eventually hit land. In front of the historic palace, the trio of women headed off onto the 40-kilometer, very challenging and hilly bike course. And Gorman would be very aggressive in the early stages of the ride, realizing that when Nicola Spirig eventually got onto the bike, she would be a major threat. It wasn't a surprise to see the two-time Olympic medalist Nicola Spirig be very aggressive, pulling away from much of the competitors behind her, and with just the eyes of the three women up ahead, eventually Nicola Spirig, along with a small group of outstanding cyclists, were able to catch the trio. Taylor Knibb was the first of the athletes to catch the trio. The 20-year-old superstar from the United States, loves the hills and very powerful. And by the end of the 40-kilometer bike ride, it would just be a group of four women, including Nicola Spirig, Taylor Knibb, Steinhauser from Italy, and a French athlete, Gauthier. The four of them would come off the bike at the end of 40 kilometers in front of the palace with an almost 2-minute and an insurmountable lead on the great runners, including Barbara Riveros, who were behind. All of the crowd certainly behind Spirig, her two children and her Olympic husband, Rito Hughes, sitting in the stands. And all the energy from the crowd of the Olympic city would be for Nicola Spirig. 10 kilometers running, Spirig had won the European Games in the previous 2 weeks, so we knew that she was in great shape, and early on she started to pull away from the Italian and American athletes. Taylor Knibb, the young 20-year-old, tried to keep Nicola Spirig in check, but Spirig, at 36, world-class in every capacity of swim, bike, and run, just too experienced, but the 20-year-old showing that she would be part of the U.S.'s great future, was in second place, but the day belonged to Nicola Spirig as the two-time Olympic medalist, won at home in Lausanne. It would not be long before the 20-year-old Taylor Knibb would make her way across the line for a phenomenal silver medal performance. And finally, the Italian would cross the line for her bronze medal and to keep Europe on the map.
It's a really hard course. At the end of the bike course, I was cramping everywhere, like even in the fingers and like everywhere. So I tried to just poke her and go out fast on the run, and it went a bit better step by step, but it wasn't easy. But I'm really, really happy that it turned out like that.
I wasn't completely comfortable, but I knew that everyone was hurting, so it's nice to have hills because it keeps it honest. We were catching Nicola on the first lap of the bike, and I'm like, well, there's something wrong here, like we're riding up to her, but then finally like the group split up and it was better once it was just four of us.
I tried to push on the first lap to find my legs back, because after this ride I thought I would walk the whole 10K, and then I tried to keep a static pace on the two more laps, and the last lap was just believing until the end.
All of you.